How many versions of yourself are lying dormant right now? The musician, the entrepreneur, the actor. What if I told you the only thing separating you from these identities isn't talent or time? It's a single mental shift that most people never make. This mental shift is to become limitless. And I'm sure most of you have seen it by now, but for the very few who haven't, Limitless tells the story of Eddie Mora, a struggling writer who unlocks 100% of his brain power with a mysterious pill called NZT. He becomes incredibly intelligent, successful, and seemingly limitless. He's able to break past his mental barriers that once held him back from initially starting something he's always dreamed of doing. This concept of becoming limitless has always fascinated me ever since watching this movie. But what exactly does it mean to become limitless? And why should you want to be anyways? Is this some kind of woo talk, or is this actually even something possible? So today I'll be breaking down in my perspective what it means to become limitless, not through a pill, but through mindset and action. So in the movie, Ed is going through a very rough time when we first see him in the film. He looks very stressed out as he claims,
"What kind of guy without a drug or alcohol problem looks this way? Only a writer."
He struggles to write his book. He faces it and says today's the day he's going to kick his ass, but he still just can't start it. One day, Eddie bumps into a brother of a past lover who is a dealer, named Vern. With confronting with how he's been, he starts to tell Vern about his new book deal he's got going on, but then he crumbles and admits he can't even start it. His old friend feels sympathy for Edward as he gives him a drug called NZT-48. He thinks about it and figures not much else could get worse in his life, so he decides to take the drug. He's confronted by his landlord's girlfriend and immediately starts getting chewed out over the rent. All of a sudden he feels a different feeling. The color grade goes from dark and depressing to warm and uplifting. He has clarity. With his newfound clarity, he sees his filthy apartment for what it is, a reflection of his chaotic mind. So what does he do? He cleans. He declutters. He spends all of his time clearing everything up and realizes with his newfound clarity, there's something he needs to do. He takes one look at his laptop, sits down, and he just wrote. And eventually, through just one night of hard work and action, he's able to write out the entire book he had been putting off for so many years. We all struggle at one point or another at this. When you find something you want to do with your life, you're met with the most resistance to doing it that you've ever experienced before. And just like Edward, you sit in front of the screen, just sitting there until you finally feel so uncomfortable you just get up, maybe you go to the bar, see some friends, or maybe even just play some video games. Anything to get you escape from what you know you need to do. Think to yourself, it's okay, once I'm done with this round, I'll just start tomorrow. Because tomorrow is the start of a new week and I've already messed this week up not doing anything, so I might as well just start new tomorrow. Which, this is something we've all told ourselves at least once in our lives. This is the exact same way Ed would think until 10 years later, he hasn't started anything at all. And look where this made him end up. If you don't want to be in the same situation as Edward, the solution is easy to break past this mental barrier. Becoming limitless starts with one simple, often painful step. You just take action, even if it's messy. Like Edward, once he feels the clarity from the NZT, he's finally able to just start. But you don't have to wait for the clarity. All you have to do is just do it. You just have to do something related to what you want to do. And now you've gotten the ball rolling. Even if it sucks, all that matters is that you did it. And that feeling of finally feeling a little bit of satisfactory just lays over you. You take action, even if it's cleaning up the messy apartment. Once you feel clarity from just starting, we can also clean up our environments around us and the clutter within our minds. We all want to be perfect from the get-go, but we have to be real with ourselves. Whether it's your first song, your first business, or even your first video, you have to embrace the suck. Think of it like learning an instrument. You don't pick up the guitar and shred like Hendrix on day one, do you? Over time, the more you do something, the better you'll get at it. The more momentum you'll have, because once you start something, this same momentum will create more motivation as a spiral effect. And once you know it, you've created something. And that something is better than creating nothing. Once something has been created and now you know how to do something, you could do it again with more ease. The more you keep doing it, the easier it's going to get. So on and so forth. So if you want to break past the mental shackles that hold you back, the easiest way to break them is just by doing something about it. And sometimes even your first production of something could actually be really, really good. In the case of Edward, once he's finally able to write his first book, it is received very well by his publisher. And this just as easily could be you. There are two types of people in this life. There are the specialists and the generalists. By definition, a specialist is someone who concentrates primarily on a particular subject or activity, a person highly skilled in one specific restricted area. In other words, this is just the study of only one field in life. You go to school, you become a doctor, and you only work as a doctor for the rest of your life. You spend your entire life only focused on being a doctor and nothing else extensively. A generalist, on the other hand, by definition, is someone who possesses a broad range of knowledge and skills across various fields rather than specializing in one specific area. This is someone who will go from topic to topic, learning a lot about one specific topic, then moving on to the next. The generalist is adapting, while the specialist tends to stay in one lane. And this isn't meant to throw shade at the specialist by any regard. Some people enjoy just being a professional in just one field. And if you want to be like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But in order to become limitless, you have to become a generalist. You have to be willing to learn multiple subjects in life. There's always that old saying, a jack of all trades and a master of none. And personally, I don't agree with this statement. To become limitless means you can become a master of many things. There are many examples of historical figures in history that were well-renowned generalists. Isaac Newton was primarily known for his discoveries of laws of motion and gravitation from his mathematical skills, but he was also known to be an astronomer, an alchemist, a theologian, and an author. Benjamin Franklin is most notable for his work of aiding Washington and the 13 colonies in the formation of the United States. But he was also known to be a scientist with his famous experiment of flying a kite with a key attached to it during a thunderstorm to understand the nature of electricity and lightning. He was, of course, also an author and an inventor. Theodore Roosevelt was known as the great youngest president of his time. But before that, he was a police commissioner, Secretary of the Navy, and a decent fighter known to have had a boxing ring in the White House, and a very avid hunter, which before his time in politics was hunting big game out in the Dakotas. He was also a war nut and formed the Rough Riders during the Spanish-American War. And of course, he wrote 35 books, one of them actually being with his best friend and longtime colleague that was an ancestor of mine, Henry Cabot Lodge. And lastly, the most famous journalist of all time, Leonardo da Vinci. Some know him by his famous paintings, such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Some know him by his scientific discoveries. He was also well known to have created concepts of inventions way beyond his time. Inventions such as the parachute, the helicopter, and even some weird UFO sketches as well. The world is full of specialists and generalists which serve a pivotal role in society. However, to become limitless means to become a generalist. And if anything ever seems too hard, just remember, there's examples of many people in history that have done such amazing things such as these people. If they can do it, then why can't you? In order to learn, you can't keep yourself distracted by other forces that don't contribute to your overall goals. If you want to learn how to do carpentry, let's say you choose to watch some videos online about how to start or get better at the craft, but let's say you're on YouTube watching these videos and you know how YouTube loves recommending videos that are not even related to what you're watching. So you look at the recommendations and you think, it's just a few, it's not going to hurt me. This sucks you in video after video for hours, and then suddenly you're watching shorts about pottery when you don't even like pottery. Distractions will easily throw you off your learning and can suck you up from days to weeks to months if you allow it. The same thing applies with social media and technology. Both of these can be used as tools to create an amazing life and provide so much information for you. With information now at our fingertips, becoming limitless is easier than ever in the history of our time. However, with this easy access to information, there's also an easy access to entertainment. When entertainment is overused as it has been, it becomes a problem. And it becomes a dopamine addiction. And it will not only halt what you want to create, but it can also negatively impact brain structure and function. If you overuse entertainment to satisfy your dopamine levels, you won't need nor want the dopamine from learning something new or creating something new. And I think you can see the problem within this. In the movie, he's able to learn to play the piano in 3 days, learn French just by hearing it once, and he masters languages, music, and markets in just a matter of days. So how can we approach that level of rapid learning? And the answer is intense focus fueled by genuine interest. While learning something as vast as Edward ranges from person to person, the way that I've found to learn things quickly is just by committing lots of time to it and actually having a lot of interest in it. If you want to learn how to ride a bike pretty well, you have to learn the ins and outs of it. You have to learn how to be in motion with it, take risks with it, and you have to understand how it works on different terrain. And once you understand it, it's far easier to ride better and better. In the age of information, it's easier now more than ever to learn. We also have the gift of AI, which really helps narrow things down. Pick a subject you want to learn about and just ask it to help cite sources to learning about it. It really helps condense down what you really should learn, or at least what you should start with. That way, you don't just go down the YouTube rabbit hole, but you have a good structure to finding new ways to learn. Those who take the steps towards becoming limitless will thrive in the world we live in today. The path to becoming limitless is open to anyone who are willing to challenge their perceived boundaries. As I mentioned earlier, the key is intense focus fueled by genuine interest. But let me clarify what this really means. You have to not only learn to love something, but you have to learn to love the struggle of the subject at hand as well. If you want to learn about physics but you hate math, then you're not going to get very far. This ties into the famous philosophy by writer Charles Bukowski. He had the famous thought of don't try. He wasn't advocating laziness, He was sharing the most misunderstood success principles of all time, which in essence means if you don't have the passion to get through the hardest points of doing something, then just don't try. You have to learn to love the process as bad as it gets, just as good as it gets, in order to become a master of it. You have to love the bad times because the bad times are there for you to learn. If the hard times don't feel worth it, then just don't even try. You can only do in life. You can never just try. Think about it in this way. The person who becomes a doctor because their parents expected it but doesn't have any interest in human anatomy, they're going to burn out pretty fast. The entrepreneur who loves the idea of success but resents the daily grind, they're just going to quit when it gets tough. The musician who loves performing but can't stand practicing, they'll never achieve mastery in their craft and they're just going to fade out. So before you start doing something, ask yourself, is the struggle of possibly failing when things get really hard really worth it? If you want to be anything like Edward Mora, it's totally possible. You can become limitless without a pill. You don't need anything external constantly in order to become more adaptable in life. Not everyone is built to become limitless, but if you're still watching this video, chances are you are. So of course, here's my challenge to you. What's something that seems really hard to learn but would give you the most satisfaction in learning? Just look into it. To become limitless means you can't limit yourself. If you want to learn something new, learn it. If you want to become something, become it. Don't come up with excuses. No matter what happens in life, we always have the choice to become who we were meant to be. You just have to choose wisely.